I'm here trackside at VIR on day 3 of testing with the PWR Triple Pass Radiator. And day 1, I thought I was going to give Jason and PWR a heart attack. I saw temperatures in the 233 range, but keep in mind this is a torture test. So I had a 271 snorkel tube in here that was blocking airflow to the radiator. And I also had my hood tray installed on the car. I'm also running factory coolant. So yes, being in the 230s was definitely unnerving. It took a while to calm the car down, but I wanted to do this in stages. So for day 2, I removed this piece right here, and I saw a 10-degree improvement. It then dropped into the 220s. So today being day 3, I removed the snorkel tube, and now even on push laps, I'm seeing temperatures that range in the low 200s to the highest in the low 2 teens. And that was even setting a new personal best for myself of a 209.7. So I do think that this is a really good piece if you are a street warrior and you're the type of guy that's doing pulls against other cars illegally on the highway. You shouldn't be doing that. But this did drop the IATs on the car, so it does actually work. And then obviously for track, it is best to remove this, but since it was a torture test, I decided I was going to throw everything that I possibly could at the car just to see how the triple pass would perform. So with that being said, and I was skeptical at first, I am actually impressed. Just also so that you're aware, I am not running any kind of cooling tray or any kind of additional hood venting, which means that if you do have the wide open throttle cooling tray, you're gonna see improvement over the numbers that you're seeing from me. And if you have that in addition to a vented hood, you're gonna see even more improvement on top of that. So overall, I'm impressed. And at this point, I can say without a doubt, I endorse the product. Obviously, I paid a lot of money for it. You're gonna pay a lot of money for it too if it's something that you want, but it actually works. So in this particular lap, I still have the 271 snorkel in the front installed, and I have the rain tray underneath the hood taken out. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get any video from day 1 where I had all of my handicaps in place, possibly because I was a bit aggravated with the performance. I thought that it was going to perform better with the handicaps, but I really ultimately should have known better. Keep in mind, too, that this is after several laps, so the temperature has really started to rise. Obviously, it started out much less, but I wanted to get a good representation of what this would look like after you were driving the car for several laps, as opposed to just going out on the first lap, to give any kind of comparison for what this would do if you were to install it in your car. On this particular lap, the 271 snorkel tube is still installed, but I've slowed my pace because I have a car that's on stock power that's following behind me in order to learn from my line.
And I think this is a pretty good representation, and this is also a 2:15 lap, of differences in pace and how they affect temperature. Now, I'm also at the end of this video going to show a car that's not on stock power, but very close to stock in general, just so that you can see a comparison with that car versus how my car is doing. This lap, I have no handicaps in place except for the factory coolant and the fact that I'm still running the factory splash shield under the car. Just take note at how different the car responds to temperature. And this is after several laps as well. And you can see that I'm actually on pretty brisk pace here in this lap. And I think it was important here to show as well that even under brisk pace, when you remove the handicaps that you have in place, it really makes a gigantic difference in the coolant temperatures that you see. This lap is different than the prior because at the prior the ambient temperature was in the 60s, whereas now it's in, looks like here, 74. And this is on a push lap, this is on a decent lap, and this is also with the passenger in the car, and just paying very close attention to what the coolant temperature is doing in this particular case. Again, this is now without any handicaps involved whatsoever on a push lap. This is running in the 211s, and I was thoroughly impressed with how the radiator performed in this specific lap and also during this entire session. The temperature never got out of control, and it stayed in the 2 teens for the most part, you know, on a solid push. And that typically only happens when you're going down the long straights, when you're really fighting the car, you know, against wind resistance. You're taking it all the way to the red line, and your miles per hour are, you know, obviously very high. So pay close attention to this lap and pay close attention to the temperatures, because you should be impressed just as I was impressed. And I've even compared this with my former performance radiator, and the difference is huge. Don't be fooled by the gloves, because it's not me driving. This is me sitting passenger. This car has a PRL intercooler, it has a downpipe, and it has a TSP over-the-counter tune. And it's got a factory radiator in it. So this is after a couple laps, of course, because I want to show what it looks like after the car heat soaks, because after it's heat soaked, it's really, really hard to get it back without having to, you know, take 1 or even 2 pretty slow cool down laps. So take a look at the temperatures in this car, and this is on a push lap in this car. I believe, if I remember correctly, we're probably going to run about a 215, which I'm super proud of my student. He came in with the goal of running 220s, but also had it in his mind that he needed to work on his vision and his shifting and some of his brake work as far as commitment into, you know, going deeper into the braking zones, and it really paid off for him in the end. But now, after comparing both of our data, he's now in the market for a new radiator and some more cooling solutions, just so that he can keep those temperatures down and keep the longevity in his car.